Hello world, I'm with Sebastian, and we're going to talk about some project management principles and all the buzz about the agile development. So you talk in your presentation that you did yesterday or today, I think. Today, all these principles and all is all about. So I let you introduce it.
Yeah, what I tried was a little bit to go away from the recent developments that were in this area where people focus on methods like Scrum and try to get a timeline up. And I tried to research for that talk, how did it come all about that we started using a different approach working on our software and started these crazy things like daily stand-ups or showing off our software on a regular basis. And the interesting thing is that it's much more older as one might think if you make a basic research on the web. So yeah, that was pretty much the starting point. And I proposed a talk that would cover 10 or 15 years. I ended up with a talk that covered 81 years.
Oh.
Yeah.
And you started the topic as using the concept of using a buzzword per se, or something to put it in all sauces. It's a word that we use in French to say we put it everywhere, even though it's not that.
Yeah, one thing that happens is that these methods change a little at a time.
Yes.
And if you are in the internet, you may have come across a thing that is called memes. If someone sends you a funny cat with a writing done of
the
it,
LOL cats.
You have received the LOL cat, or someone sends you so-called demotivational, a funny picture with a text below it, which should motivate people, but often is made out of frustration with a bad kind of humor in it. That's another kind of meme. So these things are internet memes, and altogether they form a meme plex. And you even can mix them up and create new memes. And the basic message, the basic thing about this is these messages get stronger and stronger when people try edit them and when people try add own content. So you might end up making an own lolcat, photographing your own cat, or making an own. A lot of companies have their own demotivational. So
they even do that with songs. Sometimes they use a song and they rewrite it completely to fit their own.
Yeah,
it fits with that.
Yeah,
even though it's horrible, lots of times.
Yeah, very funny. These very funny things have one serious message behind it. A message gets stronger when people add to it. So you're more likely to memorize that stuff when you have created one of this your own. And when we come to stuff like development methods, and you analyze that, they change a little at a time, and a lot of people have added to it. So I think the notion of like buying a book and implementing one of these methods might not be absolutely correct, because
you gotta use it. You gotta learn from it and improve it, right?
Yeah, you gotta learn from it, and one of the basic messages on most of the Agile methods is try to improve a little at a time and constantly improve. So if you want to propagate the message that you are of Agile development and want to use it and want to be more likely to be successful, it's a good thing to add to it and tailor all those processes to your own field of work. What others might have thought of might not work for you out of the box, or it's even very likely that it's not working for you out of the box.
So what are some key pointers or things you could do or try that you can mix and mingle that could be useful for that?
Very recent is what got kind of a standard is like you develop in increments. You stop develop long projects.
You point out some feature set, and then you let the developers and the business unit doing their part of work and give feedback. So
yeah, you're cutting down your projects in small parts, and basically, first of all, you're reducing the risk of failing the whole project. You might fail at the first try of your small part, on the second try of your small part, but there will be a time when you're successful, and continuing learning and making these little steps will bring you to a point where you can be very relaxed about keeping your stuff in a time box, and you get finished in time and in budget, which is in our field of work sometimes a special thing and not always a thing we do.
Yeah, but it's good because you can give frequent updates and functional things to the client. So you say, we worked on this, 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 here we go. Are you satisfied with it? And in the meanwhile, you can also add the other important things like the accessibility or...
The basic idea is that we do things that are not always plannable.
When we do integration, sometimes it's like the code. You write a lot of things because you want to make it work. And then you have to rewrite part of it to make it leaner or more functional, per se.
This is one thing, but another thing is that if you think of those big social media websites that came up in the last year, no one could have planned that kind of success and the functionality. So we are doing a very complex thing, and not your salesperson, not your developer, even no one in your company will have an idea where you end up in 1 year. It's very hard to get that idea. This is because the markets and the internet are changing very fast. We went from social networking 3 years ago to mobile social networking with a very fast speed, and it's very hard to catch up.
And not to forget the geolocalization and the social on top of that.
So
we can go on.
Things seem to speed up, and it's very hard to make a plan for 1 or 2 years, or really plan with an idea. And if you look back to the 60s and 70s, like the NASA did this. The NASA had the problem that they wanted to fly to space. So how you come up with a piece of software that will work, for example, in the space shuttle, that works, but you don't know what it has to do completely, and it doesn't kill people, and it's hard to get a bug fix to work, and all those problems. So you only can go in increments. You only can go piece for piece. So the idea is, if you do something we are not sure how you exactly can do it, it might be a good thing to not to plan everything and then fail it, and then replan everything.
Release early, release often.
Release early, release often. Kind of a mantra from the open source scene, but just go a little first and then see where you can. Then you're at a kind of a crossing, and you can go left, right, or you can go somewhere else.
Yeah, it was really interesting. So I hope you enjoyed the Montreal region, and hope to see you soon.
I enjoyed the hospitality. It was very nice.
Pleasure.
So let's see what the next time brings.
Yeah, cool.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.